And we're back, everyone. This is Idleman, and we're here with When in Rome. And I'm the hostess with the mostest, and I'm here with Jason. Say hello, Jason.
Hello.
And this is When in Rome, the podcast where we sit down and talk about all the things that are Roman. Do you know what I mean? Let's get into it. So tonight we are going to be dropping the first part of a truly epic fucking interview. It's one that I did with Delilah BeFierce. It was epic. Do you know who Delilah is?
I've heard.
So she's obviously it's in the fucking name. She's a fierce drag queen, and when I tell you that this interview has so many fucking crazy and funny fucking moments, like you get to hear about how this little Nino grew up in Mexico in a very homophobic environment and blossomed into the talented drag diva, owning the stages across SF. We will talk about what it was like growing up with homophobic parents and sisters, as well as learning how to make clothes and the difference between a drag queen and doing drag, because they're apparently different. So, it was really an epic interview, so stay tuned after the news recap for the first part of that. Next week, I'll be dropping the second half portion of the interview with Delilah BeFierce, so it's pretty much like the month of Pride, the month of June, and the months to be fierce. See what I did there? The next week, there's a line in there where she goes, this is not lipstick, honey, it's drag cum. That's all. I have no notes. You know what I mean? Stay tuned next week for that part. Coming up, we have a panel on making a living off your art, where I sit down with a couple of my friends and we discuss what it's like to live off your art, like making money, protecting your craft, fighting against the man while making money from the man, or painting about the man, or you know what I mean, getting fucked by the man. But I've always loved artists, and I've loved people who can make their money off their art. But it's an interesting intersectionality between your craft and protecting it, but also learning all these other types of jobs and learning how to manage it and finance and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and because some people it's a love, they just get into whatever they're doing because it's a passion, and they got to monetize it.
Right.
And then that kind of changes things.
Because for me, I was a dancer, and I always wanted to be a dancer, and I went to LA to be a dancer, and I realized that I didn't like dancing enough to be poor. Do you know what I mean? I didn't like dancing enough for the struggle. You know what I mean? I was so I realized, I wanted it as a hobby. So I really want to talk to people who pushed through that. I was like, no, you know what I mean? This is worth it. You know what I mean? So stay tuned for that. But let's get into it, bitches, everyone, right now. Let's get our mood enhancers out, please. So the count of 3, we're going to enhance ourselves. 1, 2, 3. Consider yourself enhanced. Let's get into it. Happening since we last saw each other. Okay, so it's fucking Pride Week, everyone. Happy Pride, Jason.
Happy Pride.
Are you prideful?
I am, yeah.
I mean,
Are you?
Yeah, I'm full of pride. Yeah. God damn it.
I try to be that way all year round.
Yeah, hello.
But
let's
focus this month.
Yeah, it's the focus this month. It's the focus this week for San Francisco. What I did want to say about Pride this season is that while we are all out partying, we need to be cognizant this Pride of how we can push forward the social agenda of it, because I think it is being attacked and co-opted, like we talked about last week or the week before, in terms of my thoughts on We Hold Pride, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't party. I'm not telling you not to go out and volunteer, or telling you to go out and volunteer if you don't want. But we need to make sure that this Pride season that we're out there looking at and for the nuances of Pride. Are you checking on your trans friends whose rights are being assaulted, or your queer friends in red states dealing with all that bullshit? Maybe it's reaching out to people and checking on them, donating money or time to a cause, or putting people in their place if you see something wrong, someone being mistreated or disrespected. It could be it could be even as simple as helping somebody out at Pride. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For example, I was in a dark room. And this is not about Pride, but I was in a dark room last week, and there was a guy, and he was passed out. And I remember looking at him, and but it's you can barely see, and it's dark. You know what I mean? I'm 42, so I was I didn't want to look weird. You don't want to look weird, right. Looking at this man, because I couldn't tell if he was passed out or if it was a shadow, yeah? But then I saw another friend later on go up to him and see that he's passed out and wake him up and give him water, make sure he was cognizant, stand him up, you know what I mean, and whatever. And then the guy went off and went on, you know what I mean? Before that, he was just passed out, right? So it's little things like that can make or break someone's Pride experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's we need to be just making sure that we're really making Pride this year, you know what I mean, about it more than just partying. And there's so many ways to do that, so many ways to be mindful and make a full 360, full-throated Pride experience, because those moments are what generates the community that we need to preserve in times now when it's being attacked. You know what I mean?
Taking it back to how things used to be.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's more about community, less about the capitalistic interest and the corporate interest, and people just really being a celebration of yourself. Right. Sexuality, who you are, all that.
Okay, Mystical. Do you remember Mystical?
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember Mystical, the rapper, and like he got 20 years for rape.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. But like, the reason I'm bringing it up is like, if you look at it, and it's just like, it was just like, the reason I'm bringing it up is he says, if I did that to you, because he basically pleaded guilty to raping this woman, but then when he pleaded, he was like, if I did that to you, I deserve the max sentence. You pleaded guilty.
Yeah, like
so you did do it.
You don't remember?
But that's what I'm saying. I love how like it's like they're so unwilling to say it in the popular canon or in a way that's going to then be posted on the news articles or whatever. Right. Because by entering a plea of guilty, you are saying you're guilty. Yeah. But your words are if I did that. No, I did that. Yeah. I need to whatever, but you're still a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
There's a lack of accountability.
A lack of accountability from a headline standpoint. But legally, you're trying to, you know what I mean? You're professing accountability, but you're still trying to leave the room, wiggle room in later, because maybe you can be like, I didn't do it or some bullshit. It's an interesting like juxtaposition between like legal liability and like social liability or pop culture liability. Yeah,
I mean, he did attempt. He was going to withdraw the guilty plea, but ended up not. So he probably, 20 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So if you were facing 20 years, like
he was facing life. That's why he it was gonna be life, and then the guilty plea got him down to 20. Mm-hmm. But if they had convicted him without the, it would have been life. So I'm just like,
And the details of what he did it was a lot.
Yeah, and this is his third. I mean, like when I was reading it, like, girl, like you were in jail for 6 years for raping and beating up a girl. You almost went to jail again for whatever. It's just like, why do we keep putting these men back on the street?
And this incident happened in 2022.
Yeah, and so
it was like 4 years ago. Almost 4 years.
But I guess it's a sentencing. Yeah. That's why I brought it up, because it was just more like like I said, from a pop culture standpoint, I would just wanted to bring up like that difference between a guilty plea and if I did it. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Plus, it's just how long it takes to get some
justice.
Some justice in this motherfucker. Oh, let's talk about the Iran deal. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about it at the top because I'm so tired of talking about it in the bottom in the news, like the news part. And like, it's just, what you think?
I mean, I'm just tired of it. You can't ever trust what anybody says.
Right.
Especially in our administration.
Hello.
So it's just getting old. It was been old. But it's just, I'm like, but y'all just sort some shit out, because it's affecting a lot of things that it didn't need to be affected. The economy's being affected. People are paying more money for things, and it was so unnecessary. And
it's affecting the world in ways that we don't even get to see. Countries and cities and other countries are running out of oil, running out of gas and all that, but we're inculcated from it. One, because we are generally the biggest exporter of oil, and two, because our news just isn't sharing it. But the world is really turning against America for a lot of ways, and we have no clue about it because we're not even talking about it, in our news. But the only thing about the Iran deal is I think that basically this is going to be the thing of our time where it's just going to be like, I don't know if we're ever going to have a deal, or because I think there's too many vested interests in not having peace.
Yeah, I would agree.
But there's also a lot of vested interest in not having a war, because now we see that war is economically, not viable. Yeah. So I think it's that détente is essentially going to be where we're going to be living at. People are going to keep trying to fuck up the peace deal to keep it from securing peace, but then they're also not willing. People are going to be unwilling to allow those same people to then get us back to war, because war isn't economically viable. So we're like, I don't know if we're ever going to get a peace deal, or if we're always just going to be negotiating one.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what comes out of this, nothing is going to be better than what Obama negotiated.
Thank you, the black man, the Democrat. Remember when fucking Donald Trump walked away from the fucking Iran deal because he knew what he was talking about? This deal. Look, I also wanted to bring up, this is an example of America getting its ass whooped.
Yeah,
we got fucked. We got dog walloped. We lost horribly. We lost everything. I don't think there's anything that we can say we gained except for a sense of, oh shit, we fucked up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we lost. Like, Donald Trump epically fucked this up. You know what I mean? And no matter how or what he says, he fucked it up. He fucked up we as in America fucked up, in terms of like we started a war and we lost, we got spanked, we got whatever, and then we go back to the Obama deal, we could have had all of that and more. And
it was already in place.
Yep, and that's white supremacy, because white supremacy will fuck up a good deal, you know what I mean, because it came from somebody of color, and then come back around and fuck everything else up, and then this is where we're at because the white man don't want to do anything, you know what I mean, like because like, and that's literally what it was. Donald Trump just didn't like Barack Obama's deal because it was from a black person, because it was from a Democrat, fucked it up, and then we've come back, and now you've literally given them everything that they wanted, and we're kind of getting some of the same things that we wanted in the Iran deal, but we had to give up billions of dollars, lives, all, cachet, everything.
Yes, to a lesser degree.
Okay, so fuck Iran. Can we talk about the Iran deal that was going on my butthole? So I have a heat rash. So guys, I have like a heat rash. I don't know if you've ever like had like where your butthole gets wet,
it gets itchy,
and then like moist, and then you're not supposed to scratch it, but you scratch it, and then you have nails, but you don't normally have nails, and so then like it just becomes the DNK, the demarcated zone. You know what I mean? I feel like North Korea and South Korea are not talking. And I met this fine ass motherfucker who wanted to fuck me. You have not lived. Well, sorry, you have not wanted to kill yourself. Not kill yourself, but just be like until you watch somebody fucking somebody that wants to fuck you, and he's fucking the shit out them, and you can't get fucked by them, and you're supposed to be an ally and be like, yeah, babe, I walked out the road, bitch. You ain't gonna get the dick I want, and that wants me, but my cooter is dry. You know what? Because no, I'm not going to show my cooter to somebody. It's when I show my cooter, it's going to look like Halle Berry. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I need you to see my best face.
Your best self.
Not when it looks like hello. What was that? Oh my God. What was oh God. You know what I mean? Miss Doubtfire. That's what I feel like, because you got a powder on. It looks like Miss Doubtfire when she did hello.
Yep.
So now I have a butt rash. Oh, and then the last thing I want to talk about is Lizzo. So her album sold 2,000 copies.
Yeah,
that's not a lot. No. Do you know what? Why do you think that happened?
I mean, I think honestly it's because of the scandal. I think like people kind of like left her after that, and the fact that it's like not settled yet, and it's still going on. I think people just like not fucking with her. And I also think like there's some artists that just fizzle out.
Yeah,
like they just don't have it after a certain point. You can't take all that time off, not put any music out, have a scandal in the interim, and think people are just gonna show up.
And then also like, it's like what was your market? Because you were a big girl who was big about being big girls, lost weight, didn't really talk about that. You know what I mean? Which is fine, lose weight, it's your body, whatever. But it's like you made your thing about being a big girl and about being big. And big, it's not that big girls can't lose weight, but you also didn't have any art or any music coming out to talk about that journey. You know what I mean? Right. It was just kind of like, and then you just had some slapbacks or whatever. Then you had this scandal that you didn't really adequately, do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, where are we at with that? You know what I mean? And then you come back and you come back and you try to, I guess you come back, because like when you're coming back, it's like the music has moved on from these, like, you know what I mean? Like big girl anthems, you know what I mean? Or just anthems about being big, you know what I mean? Like we love them, but it's not like, it's not like the beginning of the zeitgeist anymore. Like, bitch. But I think 2,000 albums says it all. You know what I mean? Like Lizzo is,
2,000, that's nothing. It's scrap metal.
Like Lizzo is not sizzling. You know what I mean? Like Lizzo is gone bye-bye. And with that, let's get to this part of my podcast, which is what really grinds my girdles. Oh my God, that might be the first time that I actually said grinds my girdles and not gears in the first part. Look at me reading the script and getting it right. Look at me reading. Right. No, he didn't just agree, bitch. Ain't that bitch? Jason, you want to know what grinds my motherfucking girdles?
What's that?
Rent. So I heard of this thing called rent guarantors. Have you heard of rent guarantors before?
I hadn't.
So rent guarantors, and this is basically just off my, search for rent, looking around for apartments or whatever. And I ran into this thing called rent guarantors. Rent guarantors are basically people who will guarantee your rent. So if you have low income, you don't have to meet the income thresholds for the apartment, or maybe your credit is bad or something, right? Or maybe you get an income and it's not like coming as consistently in the ways that they want it or something. Right. They'll guarantee your rent. But essentially, you have to pay them a fee. And then they work with and they're already connected with the property management companies, right? Which probably tells me that they probably started by the property management companies. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't see how are you that connected or whatever. And so you pay them a fee, and it'll be based off like 45 to 50% of your total rent for the year. So let's say your rent's like, you know, 5,500 or something like that, and you're, you know what I mean, you're paying 55, you're paying total, like, 55% of that for over the year. It comes out to like between 4,000 to 6,000. I think it depends upon your risk level, whether you have no income, low income, you know, how risky are you not to pay back this guarantee. And it's a one-time fee that you don't get back. So basically, if you were trying to rent this $5,500 apartment, and you know what I mean, like you would have to pay $5,000 to this guarantor. Mm-hmm. They would then go to the people, and they would be your guarantor for rent, and then you would be paying rent to the regular building, and you never get that money back.
On the chance that you might not pay.
On the chance that you might, like, get evicted. Not even not pay rent, late or whatever, just not pay rent. Yeah. And most people pay rent. You know what I mean? Like, and if you have an eviction, they're not gonna. This would be different if you had an eviction on your thing, but this is not for an eviction. That I could kind of understand. Mm-hmm. This is for you having low your income requirements, you know, quote unquote, not matching, or your credit score or something like that. Like, that's some bullshit.
But these are people that probably pay their rent on time, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And they have great rental history, but rental history doesn't matter to rent people. You know what I mean? So that it's like these ephemeral things. Like, first of all, why do you even like nowadays? Also, let's talk about all the things that you could do. Like you nowadays, especially in San Francisco, they just straight ask for your banking information. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What happened to your show and pay stuff? So now you have to just basically give all your information to some company so their AI can scroll through it, and then you do that with. I mean, sometimes people will apply to 4 or 5 different apartments. Yeah. So now all these apartment buildings have, you know what I mean? Yeah, they had your social security number before, but now you've given them like literally password access to all your banking information.
That's crazy too.
And then that information just sits there, and I'm sure it gets sold, or who protects that information? That's crazy.
It is.
And what's really crazy to me, the reason it grinds my fucking gears is that
girdles.
Like girdles. Fuck, damn it, my motherfucking girdles. It grinds my girdles is because this is what we do to people who I'm not even gonna say poor, just who aren't like really, really rich, right? Like the things that really, really rich people do. Look at SpaceX. SpaceX is literally leveraged. The whole thing is on debt, and the only reason that the IPO was created was because it had taken on so much debt. Yeah. And then the first thing they do is leverage their shares after the IPO to pay off debt. You know what I mean? But like, where's the guarantor asking for them to guarantee 6 months ahead of time for, you know, a loan or a debt? They're just you know what I mean? Like rich people do the exact same things that they say poor people can't, and they get all these incentives. And when poor people do it, it's not even they get penalized, and they get caught in this cycle. Like, if you have to pay $4,000 to some person to guarantee your rent and then pay rent, that's how are you ever going to...
It's extortion.
Yeah. How are you ever going to better your situation, whatever situation you're in, but that overhead? I mean, and $4,000 is like a lot because I'm using $5,500 and who pays out for rent, blah, blah. But I mean, this is San Francisco. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it also penalizes people who are getting money in different ways. It's basically just like taking advantage of the fact that you're not getting money, or you're not at the upper echelons of whatever financial bullshit system they're talking about. And then if you're not, then we're just going to penalize you.
And plus, they want you in the system. Like, so if you're doing something unconventional,
right?
You know, it's harder,
right,
to get the things.
And it's harder to, and it's also harder to keep you under control and keep you, you know what I mean, and then have a window into every single fucking thing you do, and so therefore they can tax it and take it. You know what I mean? But it was crazy to me that this whole guarantee. It reminds me of like fucking payday loans. It reminds me of Rent-A-Center. Oh my god, you said Rent-A-Center. Rent-A-Center would fucking go to your job. You know what I mean? Rent-A-Center would call your boss and be like, "Hey yo, Roman has a couch on." You know,
how do you get my work number?
Literally, bro, like Rent-A-Center would call your boss's cell phone. And you know what I mean? And then your boss's wife's cell phone.
Right.
And be like, "Hey, call your boss." And then, "Hey, can you put Chris on the phone? Because I know he's in the meeting. Hey, this is Rent-A-Center. And we want," you'd be like, "I'm so sorry that my CEO just had to hand me the phone call from Rent-A-Center."
Stalking you.
Yeah. Like,
stalking you over a reclining chair.
How about you stalk Elon Musk? This motherfucker don't pay rent. You know what I mean? He's had people buildings take him to court. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't paid rent or fees, or he's had, you know, girl, like that really grinds my motherfucking girdles. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'm over
now
it.
That you're talking about it, yeah, it's because the whole capitalist system is just a scam.
Yeah,
it's just a scam.
Everything's a scam. But you know what? Fuck that. Let's go talk about some things that are not scams, which is parties. Ooh, okay. Party reviews coming up. And we're back with Party Review. Did you go out this weekend, Jason?
I did. Yeah, I went to Powerhouse on Saturday for B-Pig.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cute. Juanita Moore was playing.
Okay.
You know, she was doing a damn good job. I thought.
Oh, Juanita Moore was actually playing at B-Pig?
She got some soul going on. I was like, okay, girl.
Bitch, right.
Okay, girl.
Juanita Moore, she slaps. I mean, I saw her at the, her Boiler Room, which is so funny because in the video, you could just see me like, that's why people always like, Romy should be on the cameras during those like GJ Snow Girl because I do too many ha la la. Because in the Boiler Room set, I just was in the back, just turned around the whole time and like, I was busy. Yeah. So you said, you know, let me stop talking about la la. You said Juanita Moore was good.
Yeah, it was a good set.
Okay. I went to Maximus at Bo, and when I tell you this party was on hit, like Maximus parties are amazing. Like the second time that this party is like, I mean, it's not the second party this time has jumped off. This party's they've had more parties, but it's the second time this party has just like jumped off like this.
Okay.
It's like it was the details that Douglas was mentioning because Douglas has been on the podcast as a party promoter. It was like music, it was the outfits, it was the dancers, it was the people. You know what I mean? It was the vibes.
Okay.
Everything was Maximus. Like, chef's fucking.
You making
kiss.
me want to go to one.
That party was everything.
Okay.
So for upcoming parties, most of it's going to be focusing on Pride that we talked about, and then I've got one on for Boom Boom, but a lot of the parties haven't really started advertising their after Pride parties yet. So we've got on 625 SF Pride Lock Party. On 626 we've got at the Midway we've got Electrolux coming up. I'm going to be there. What are you doing for Pride?
I'm going to be at Electrolux.
Electrolux, I'll be there with you.
And Saturday night I'm going to be playing at Powerhouse for Lick It.
Okay.
So
cool. So we got Lick It coming up.
We got Lick It on Saturday.
So Lick It's going to be on Saturday. During the day on Saturday at Great Northern, they're going to have the Pink Block Party with Honey Dijon.
Yeah.
On 627 at the Midway is XOXO with Sagi Kareem and Enrique Maloney, but also on 627 at Powerhouse will be Lick It with you.
Yes.
Licking it.
Yes.
On 628, which is on Sunday, is going to be at the Foundry. Ascend has Nina Flowers. Also on 627 is going to be Mule. Sorry, I forgot about Mule. Mule. So a really good techno party on 627. The venue is to be determined. You got to look it up. And then on 74, I do have one party. That's next weekend with my birthday coming up. Thank you. I'm a Cancer. We grow on you. Little Miss Melanoma. 7-4. We have Boom Boom. Bo's having another edition of their really fun Brazilian party. Their party at Great Northern was amazing. So Boom Boom's got a really good vibe. And those are my party reviews. After the Pride season, I'll have all of July up. But right now, they haven't really started promoting them. So with that, let's go to break, and then we're going to talk about world news. There's so much happening, guys.
It's a lot.
So much. We'll be back. And we're back with world news. All right, bitches, let's see. The rise and fall of Keir Starmer. Where did it all go wrong? So, article synopsis. Keir Starmer, you know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The PM of England, who was elected 2 years ago, just announced his resignation. He has had multiple issues affecting his tenure, including controversy surrounding an aid of his link to Jeffrey Epstein. Remember that? Mm-hmm. He said some scandals surrounding gifts or whatever. But his biggest issues seem to be his inability to set a vision for the country and to communicate that to the electorate. He had a huge mandate with a landslide victory for his Labour Party because a lot of people think it was mostly just him, the people being fed up with the Tories or whatever, which was a conservative government at the time. So after 2 years in, he's out. What you think?
I mean, when I read this, I thought about this guy was trying to play the middle. And people don't want the middle now. Mm-hmm. Like, did you see the election in New York that happened and the socialists won? Mm-hmm. People don't fucking want no middle person. They want somebody that's going to stand for something, even if it's far right. Yep. Progressives are moving to the left more. So if you don't have a strong position, if you try to play both sides, it's like you're going to suffer.
Plus, it was I picked this one because it's a master class in squandering a mandate because you can't create a vision, and that's the problem with the left. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it wasn't just about repudiating the Tories and going against conservative ideology. Like the same problem we have here. It's not just about repudiating Trump and saying going against MAGA. It's about creating a vision for the left, a vision for what you want, even if it's not even for the left. It's what is your vision? Right. Like Trump is really great at painting, and the Republicans are great at painting a vision. They want want this type of America, that type of America that harkens back to things that didn't exist or harkens back to only specific moments. But it is painting a picture. It's a stupid picture. It's a picture out of focus, but they're painting it. You know what I mean? Like, we have a clear glass, you know what I mean, with like maybe some opaque shadows on the wall, and the, you know what I mean, we lower, like when you're looking at those little like creepy things in your eyes when they close, those like images, like that's the Democratic vision.
Yeah,
you know
they don't have one.
They don't have one.
They've always tried to play the middle. Even when Kamala Harris was campaigning and she went out with Liz Cheney.
Right.
It's like, she's a Republican. Like, you're alienating the people that really want to fuck with you,
right,
because you're trying to curry favor with the right when the right don't give a fuck about you.
Right. And it was for Keir Starmer, it was like you had this mandate. It also, like, you couldn't stand up to Trump. You weren't really a leader in Europe. They just had Brexit, so it was kind of like they needed somebody to stand, like, to be proud, like stand up sharply and be very, like, you know what I mean, and put Britain on the stage, especially no longer as part of the EU, and he just wasn't it. Plus, it really just shows where, you know, that like Brexit was wrong, because now Britain on its own means nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so, I mean, it doesn't mean nothing. It means something, but I think a lot of it, like Keir Starmer, it was a lot on him to make what it means. You know what I mean? And he squandered all of that. He just seemed like he was kowtowing to Trump, or not really. You know, he wasn't at the forefront of pushing back on things. He was always just reacting. Do you know what I mean? Even they even talk about his like farewell speech. It was like a list of talking points. You know what I mean? It was like, damn, bitch. Even in your farewell speech, you can't praise a vision of your farewell, motherfucker. It was like a bullet pointed list of this is why I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And they've had so much turnover too. I think it was the 7th in 10 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, it speaks to, you know what I mean? Like, they say, like, you know, democracies are better. Like, they have a democracy that's more representative because they have more political parties and yada, yada, yada. But damn, bitch, they can't even keep a PM, bitch. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ciao, Keir Starmer. Hopefully they can get somebody in the Labour Party that, like, actually can, you know, use this, you know, the wind at their backs and create some, like, vision and then affect that change to that vision. You know what I mean?
It's up to the people, too, because they got to vote that person in.
That's true. That's true.
So.
All right, and then let's go on to our second talking point. So yeah, for the next talking point, and there's two, just because there was some interesting things going on in the world this year. So topic for the next world talking point, world news talking point. World news talking point. Jesus, I need to learn to enunciate. 40 mayors worldwide endorse a pact to shape data center development. 40 mayors from around the world have signed on to a pact announced Tuesday to try to shape how urban data centers are built and operated. It's their vision for how urban data center development can be seen and it can be done sustainably and not at the expense of the city's natural resources, energy prices, or climate targets. C4 Cities, an alliance of nearly 100 cities seeking to impact climate change, launched it during London Climate Action Week. The pact lists several standards for data center developments. Urban data centers should be built on abandoned or underutilized land in an area that minimizes negative impacts on noise, heat, and air pollution. Development should be fueled by renewable energy and battery storage, and data centers should reduce water use and emissions as well as capture waste and heat. And the mayors want data centers that create jobs, buy local goods and services, and pay for their own infrastructure upgrades and listen to community feedback.
I like this. I think it's very much needed.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, like, obviously technology's been around for a while, but this kind of technology is so new that there needs to be some guardrails around how it gets implemented.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, it's funny to me because to me this would just be like, this is like common sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like this wasn't already built in. Yeah. Why the fuck isn't this? You know what I mean? Like I like it, and I like that mayors have to do it, but it just speaks to me to a lot of things that this is this should have been like dumb, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And yeah, you have to like stand up for your rights and put these things in, but it's like this is what it shouldn't take mayors. It should be governments. You know what I mean? Saying this because government should be having the like land and all of these other things in mind when they start, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy that like mayors have to be the ones to keep this in mind. Keep this in mind, guys. Yeah, you like the land rights and buying locally and the environment and water usage. Motherfucker, that should be the expectation. I mean, the fuck? There's
already data centers out there, and they're lowering the water pressure for the citizens in the city or town where they're at, lowering the air quality. So
noise issues,
and we don't even know what other kind of effects it might have
because we don't study it. We don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? That's the other reason why, you know, they wanted to quickly get in there and get rid of a lot of these people that we have in the government who track this or who keep, you know what I mean, are supposed to fight these kind of, you know, for infractions or create infractions in general. You know what I mean? But it was just crazy to be like, I'm glad that we have it. I'm glad that it's also really cool that like we're talking about these things globally, because I think we still need to be like, we need to start thinking about the decisions we make impact the globe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So pollution here impacts pollution because it's CO2 that we're releasing, and that CO2 isn't, it's global CO2. It's not just American CO2.
It just doesn't stop at the border.
Right. You know what I mean? And collectively, the CO2 that we all put up there affects all of us. You know what I mean? Look at the heat waves in Europe and yada, yada, yada. And so it's like cities across the, nation need to be talking about, like you said, these new technologies and how they impact all cities, because a lot of this shit isn't common and we all impact each other, right? Major emitters across the country, across the world, are going to affect everybody.
Yeah. I mean, we act like, pollution stops at our border. Like,
Right.
we're a global community, whether we want to acknowledge that or not.
Right.
I know we have this nationalist mindset.
Pollution is like drugs, honey. It's getting everywhere, baby.
Yeah,
Okay?
but it's like, we're all on this planet together.
Right.
So, what happens in America, what happens in China, what happens in India, like, it's interconnected.
Right. Pollution is like cocaine, honey. More people than you think do pollution. More people than you know do pollute. More people than you know do cocaine, honey. Thank you. Yes. And with that, let's go to American news. And we're back with American news. Senate passes landmark housing affordability bill after a bipartisan breakthrough. Thank you. That one was a lot. The Senate passed a bill aimed at lowering housing costs on Monday after a major breakthrough and rare bipartisan consensus that comes as affordability remains top of the mind for voters heading into the midterm elections. This is pulled straight from the article. In an 85-5 vote, the Senate approved the legislation along with wide bipartisan margins. It now heads to the House for approval. The bill, known as the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, aims to increase housing supply and bring down costs, including by limiting institutional investors from purchasing certain single-family houses. Thoughts?
I mean, I think that's really important because, these companies buying up homes, like BlackRock, it's like you can't compete with them. Like they can underbid you and get the place, and then they sit on it, and then, mortgages and rents go up. And so it's like there needed to be some intervention. The fact that it passed 85-5
is crazy.
For this government,
it's really cool.
It's wild.
And also, like, it's like, when we're talking about, like, you're talking about investors, it's because those people, like those capitalist companies, only care about profits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, when you have these venture capitalists, like people who buy and deal with the housing around you should be more worried about more than just profits. You know what I mean? They should be worried about tenant care, and they should be worried about, you know what I mean, how the effects of their, rent around the people. They should be worried about, whether people can afford it. They should be worried about the care of the land around them and the street and what the street and the community is like around them. Not just, we want to, like rent should not just be, profit should not be the only thing that drives when you're talking about rent and dealing with these things, because then all you do is cut corners. You know what I mean? All you're doing is trying to get all they want to do is maximize. All venture capitalists do, and you have that mindset and be talking about like people's homes and how homes affect the community and blah 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 blah. You know?
Yeah, because it's not a stock; it's
right.
your shelter.
Right. So yeah.
So you have to put. I mean, I'm like kind of curious about how much it'll drop costs overall, but I think it's a good step, and I like the fact that it was bipartisan.
Yeah, I mean, I put it on here because one, I was like, this is how Congress is supposed to work. You know what I mean? This is what, you know what I mean? These are the kind of things that like the government can do when it works well and when it works right. You have bipartisan, you have consensus, because both parties need wins with working class voters. Both parties need wins with about affordability crisis. America's got an affordability issue, and both parties need the voters that have these issues, and so they're working on it, and they came up with a bill. But it also is a perfect example of what's going on wrong with this country, because Trump refused to sign it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he wanted to talk about the SAVE Act, and granted, he's not going to veto it, which is good. But just like he's like pushing it back, and the implementation, it says everything it needs to say about where he thinks about the American people, what he thinks about the Republicans, what he thinks about affordability. Yeah. But it also it's you know what I mean? It's a great example of like bipartisan. It's a great example of even amidst all the bullshit that they were talking, they were still working on this. You know what I mean? Like. And I still hate every single senator in the Senate generally. You know what I mean? Like I don't like any of them, and the Republicans ones, and then there's a couple that the ones who like the Susan Collins, who you know what I mean, who sat there. It was like, oh my God, like that guy's he's not going to vote abortion down. Ooh. Yeah. You know what I mean? But and Lisa Murkowski's who like, oh my God, let me just not get in whatever them. But this is an interesting headline because it touches on so many aspects of where we're going on in America right now.
And plus, I think they know that the midterms are coming up.
Yep.
So they got to get a win, and they need to look like they're doing something.
And it was
if they want to get their asses back there.
But it was also it was interesting. It kind of speaks to, I think, how big affordability is, because also, like, a lot of times during midterms and things like that, you'll have parties trying to keep the other party from getting a win, that they can take to their voters. So the fact that they're both willing to, like, give this big win that they can both take to the voters speaks to just, like, one, how much they need the voters, and two, how big affordability is an issue. It's almost become a bipartisan issue.
Yes, absolutely. Because, everybody's struggling.
Right. And this is kind of like the right way of looking at it versus a lot of the ways that I think we've been looking at it in this country have been wrong.
Yeah, it's been very, very partisan before. It's like you said, if one side gets a win, then it's like it means the other side lost. No, the American people lost.
It's also like I'm giving gold star for Congress because the Congress of the present day doesn't do anything. So when they finally do something, gold star for you guys because you did your job and you actually just didn't just sit there and talk about bullshit and and twiddle each other's asses and suck each other off. You know what I mean? Which, hey, I'm here for, baby. I'm actually literally looking at Jason with my thumb up because I'm doing a gold star thing. He's looking at me like, girl, this is a podcast.
You trying to pluck somebody?
Right. Gold star for Congress. Wow. Let's get a break, guys. And we are back with a local news. Buster Posey, which is a great fucking name, by the way. Buster motherfucking Posey didn't just fail to meet the moment. He made the Giants pride controversy worse. So we kind of talked to this a little bit, and I haven't really brought it up, but I thought it was like a kind of a good time. So basically, there's been a controversy. I think you brought it up last week a little bit, right? There was a controversy been brewing for a bit about basically the Giants game. Some Giants, they have these pride outfits, and some players didn't refuse to wear the pride emblem and switched it with some scripture. And then one, I think, didn't do that, but he just didn't wear it or whatever. And so since then, there's been people upset about it or whatever, and the team hasn't really had an adequate response. They haven't really had a response. It's been kind of like been equivocating on both, and then also there's been, the Justice Department, or Trump's Justice Department, let me say, has been threatening to investigate whether or not these, players, the players who protested or who basically use the scripture if their rights are being, if they're being discriminated against.
Yeah.
So the article is specifically about basically the Giants as an organization not responding to this kind of like controversy.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of vacillate back and forth over like whether people should be forced to wear stuff they don't believe in. It's not to say like if somebody's homophobic and they're outward about it, that's fucked up. But it's like, I don't know, it just kind of like, I feel like infringes on somebody's freedom of speech a little bit if they are being forced to wear this thing that they don't believe in. Now, at the same time, this is all happening in SF, which is like the gayest city in the fucking world. Right. So, and then the weak response from the president of baseball operations, Buster, like he, there's a lot of homophobia in these sports. Like it's very patriarchal, and people don't want to really talk about that. They want to think about, it's 2026 and everything's great, but it's like some of these guys, they don't really fuck with that. Right. Like some of them use religion as a, reason for that, but a lot of times they just don't fuck with gay people, or maybe they have some latent homosexuality within themselves that they are a little bit intimidated by. So, I mean, I understand this, but the whole forcing people to wear stuff, I get that the league wants to make a message that gay people are welcome and, we're accepting and everything. And I think they can do that and also give the players the space to express how they feel about certain things on a personal level.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good point. One, I guess, is kind of like, I understand the inclusion and putting it everywhere. And then I also understand your point of view, saying the players, if they don't want to do it, and I think we should give them a space to do that and maybe talk about it. But I think for me, it was more than putting the scripture there instead. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I think like if you opt out because you don't want to, whatever, and I think you have a right to opt out of it. But I think allowing them to opt in with their own thing is a little interesting, because it's kind of like, like now you're trying to make that conversation, right? Where really what Pride is about is celebrating, homosexual, be like the freedom of whatever. If what you're saying is you don't want to celebrate that, then you can opt out of that celebration. But then to try to like turn it into something else is like, where, and them allowing them to do that is different to me. Do you know what I mean? I think that's where I would expect them to, in this situation, I would expect that they shouldn't have done. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just, it just creates a controversy. Like, I understand the one guy who didn't want to do it. Like, girl, you know what I mean? Unless it was in the contract for the Giants or whatever, I don't really give a fuck, because people can opt out. But I think allowing the people to opt in with their own is where it's like kind of like where I have a problem. And also like the reason I want to bring it up is I just think that like, if it's like it's an interesting bellwether for where we're at, you know what I mean, when corporations are unwilling to be unequivocal, and when they're trying to do this, like when they want to equivocate, and when they want to straddle the fence, because the more and more corporations do that, and the more people who do that, that's how your rights get taken away, because then everyone is straddling the fence and no one's willing to fight, and then under that in that time they're stripping away our rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and even in the press conference where Buster was expected to talk about this, he was just like, I'm going to talk about baseball.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I don't want to talk about this. Like, well, you should. You're the president of the fucking team. Like, this is it's not a scandal, but it's a story.
Right.
And, you need to address it, because that's part of your job.
And it speaks to, like I said, it also speaks to like where we're at, that like corporations now feel. It's kind of like it's the silence that speaks golden to me. The silence is golden in terms of like, when American Eagle put out that ad and then felt that they didn't have to say anything to defend themselves, or didn't have to say anything, and they could just, you know what I mean? Then they put out another ad that was supposed to be doubling down. You know what I mean? Like it speaks, it's like you can use kind of like how corporations respond to this as a good bellwether for like where we are in terms of a culture and holding them accountable to things, or where we are, what is acceptable for them to do, because whereas before it might have been like, oh my God, you have to say something, and now it's okay to toe the line, it's okay to to equivocate. It's because we've either made it okay to equivocate because we are aware of the fear, and we've made it okay of you to react that way to the fear, or we've made it okay for you to equivocate because you know what I mean, now people just, it's more okay to not be as for us.
Yeah, I think also when Trump came in and he got rid of all the DEI and affirmative action, that was the Supreme Court. But it just, I think, gave people a sense that if I don't believe this, I'm not going to do this, and I'm going to promote my stuff.
Right.
Like to your point, I think that the fact that they would put a Bible verse on that, on whatever they were wearing, it's just like as a middle finger. Like you can just like quietly protest.
Yeah, and it's also a difference between abstaining from whatever you think this pride thing means, and then trying to put your own. You know what I mean? Because that's the same thing. I thought you didn't want that. You know what I mean? So like, it's not about you putting your version of, because it wasn't even like they're like, we don't like this type of pride, we're gonna put our pride. It was just like, no, we don't like this, and we're gonna now show you that the reason we don't like it is because of our religion. We don't actually give a fuck.
Yeah, we don't care.
Do you know what I mean? This is not even about you, bitch.
Yeah.
This is about pride.
Right.
And if you want to make it about whether you opting out of pride, that's fine. But what you're not going to do is then try to insert what you give a fuck about. That's mass.
Yeah, you're not gonna overshadow this month where gay people are supposed to be centered,
right,
and the spotlight,
right,
and try to put yourself in that center because you're insecure.
Right.
Because that's what it is. Like these people, they're fearing that there's a way of life that's changing, and they see homosexuality as this like force that is got an agenda. And no, like guys and girls just like fucking each other, and it's really simple. Like it's not that complicated. Not guys and girls together, but lesbians and gay men, like we all like fucking each other.
Right.
So it's like, because it's been around, and homosexuality is in like hundreds of animal species. It's totally natural.
Oh my God. And we'd have probably much more versions or historical references to it if monotheism hadn't come over, and as they've taken over the world, probably scrubbed all traces of whatever kind of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, girl, we don't give a fuck if Luigi from, wherever, they is from, is normally not, it doesn't want to wear the pride emblem. We just give a fuck that motherfucker thought that we cared, about what Genesis 24. Bitch, we don't give a fuck. We don't go to your Catholic mass and say, we don't believe in this, so let's wear a pride shirt. You know what I mean? Like, we just do our prideful shit outside of mass, or with the same people who were on their knees at your mass. Anywho.
That's like Colin Kaepernick. You remember Colin Kaepernick when he just took a knee. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he was protesting something serious, police,
Yeah.
you know, injustice. But it's like you can just do that.
Right.
You just do something silent. You
Right.
don't gotta make
Take a knee.
statement about
Right.
it.
Right. You like took a knee. We didn't need you to put your little, you know, your little Jesus emblem, girl. You know what I mean? Like, girl, you know what I mean? You're a Christian who can't drive. Anyway, let's move on to pop culture news. And we're back with pop culture news. Metallica's Kirk Hammett falls off stage days after enraging Swifties. This article, I picked it. I don't even give a fuck about the Metallica Kirk Hammett shit. It's something else. So Metallica's Kirk Hammett suffered a bit of karma Friday as the guitarist slipped off stage mid-concert days after wearing a shirt that inflamed Taylor Swift fans. At Metallica's June 13th concert in Budapest, Hammett donned a shirt that read, "Taylor Swift is a CIA psyop." Photos of Hammett in the garment eventually caught the attention of Swifties, who lashed out at the guitarist on Reddit and social media. So they're like, ha ha ha, this man got owned. You know what I mean? He fell off the stage talking shit about Taylor Swift. But I actually really just kind of want to talk about this, and from the sense that, like, one, it's just really interesting, like, how conspiracy theories have become mainstream. You know what I mean? Like, and conspiracy theorists have become mainstream, right? Like, if we think about that movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, like conspiracy theorists used to be those weird people, you know what I mean, who plastered aluminum foil on the windows, and
tinfoil hat,
tinfoil hat, and all that. And now they're president.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're you know what I mean? It's like, and conspiracy theories and theorems and you know, are everywhere. And like every time I turn around, you know, someone will, like, you'll be talking to someone about something, and they'll be like, yeah, and did you know? It's always that, like, that lean in, did you know? And you're like, here we go with this bullshit. You know what I mean? I lean back like, no, I didn't. It's always, that's like, it's the conspiracy theorem lean in. You know what I mean? You know you're about to take some shit.
And they have, like, the weirdest evidence for the conspiracy theory. It's like, where the fuck did you get? I think it's because we really diverged in our news consumption. Yeah. You know, a lot of people just consume news on the right. And that's a total, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I will, like, see a clip or see a video about some stuff that's happening on Fox News or OAN or whatever. And I'm just like, y'all watching this all the time. Right. Like, what is that doing to you?
Yeah, especially like you said, they watch the news from one particular viewpoint, and then that viewpoint is unwilling to go to other viewpoints to understand things, and so then it just becomes like you said, like a conspiracy theories about why things are happening. You know what I mean? Because no viewpoint has all the knowledge. So when they start to understand, start to extrapolate about why someone is doing something, instead of like getting other viewpoints to discuss and coming to a common, you know, a commonality on whatever, then you just expound and you expound and you expound, and it becomes crazier. Because you actually don't know what you're fucking talking about.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have critical thinking skills. Like, the reading level for, I think, like half of the country, or the average for the country, I think, is 6th grade.
4th or 5th grade?
Yeah. So, you know, like, people are more easily manipulated by these forces. Like, because, like, the mainstream media, even on the left, like MSNBC or CNN, it's like, they still have an agenda. To control how you see the situation. And so, you know, but when you have a side like what's going on the right that doesn't really have any connection to truth or reality, and people are, and then you have the president calling things fake news when he doesn't like it. It's like, you know, this is kind of what you're gonna get.
And then also I want to talk about like I'm tired of everyone assigning everything that's wrong with white institutionalism to Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? Like, she's not like, Taylor Swift has her issues. You know what I mean? Like, but she's also just a white woman. And you know what I mean? She's just a white woman who makes music. I like everything doesn't have to be tied. Every angst about white institutionalism and about whatever doesn't have to be tied to Taylor Swift. She's just a white woman who makes music, and she's very popular. And she herself, she has done things that I think we could talk about in terms of the music industry and putting up all these albums and blah 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 blah. And those are conversations, but it's just like, girl, like, I'm just so tired of, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just have a conversation about white institutionalism instead of just attaching things or attacking white people, random, like, you know, prominent white people as the problem, when it's not really them, it's the institutionalism. Because then it just becomes like easy easy ways in which other people can co-opt what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? But it's interesting, like you taking this, because it's just interesting. Like she's a psyop because she's a psyop, and the whole conspiracy theory is because she like had people vote, and you know what I mean, did a voter registration, and she wanted people to vote for Biden, and it's kind of like, well, I mean, but I thought we wanted celebrities to express their opinions, but now when they do, somehow that there's like they're a, you know what I mean, or because she went for the wrong person. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, which one is it? Are you a celebrity and you're supposed to talk about your shit, or are you not? Or are you supposed to talk about the right shit? Plus, she's like, is it because she's a woman with power? You know what I mean?
You know, the patriarchy doesn't like that.
Right. Plus, it's also what power, bitch? She talked about Joe Biden, and so did Beyonce about Kamala, and did they win? No. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's also like it's like we're fighting at this, like, you know, power that, you know, when we can even argue, is it even, you know, does it even give you results? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you can make an argument that the government does get involved in entertainment. Like, that's been proven in hip hop.
Yeah.
Like the government did try to, you know, like hip hop used to be about consciousness and, you know, going to school, getting educated, you know, learning about things. And then it kind of transitioned into like gangster rap and materialism. And, you know, there's people in the industry that have said that that was an influence of the government. Like that, you know, you could say that's conspiracy, but, you know, people have given their accounts on that, and you know, they've actually, you know, said that stuff. But that's not about a specific person. That's just about like what the government's doing to try to control people's minds.
Yeah, and the conspiracy is that like it's like this, you know, this probably like this government as this one entity, when it's actually, we're talking about a period of time in which people in the government were doing something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And the conspiracy act is like that's this one mind that's been over through the ages. No, what that is an example of governmental overreach. You know what I mean? And that's you know, we have tons of examples of governmental overreach, and maybe that's one that we need to illuminate more. But the conspiracy thing is like that, you know, they're all tied. There's this Machiavellian, you know what I mean, mastermind behind it, when it really is just a bunch of men who basically want to rule, you know, do what they want to do, and there's just snapshots and times of how they've done it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I mean, let Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna attack that bitch, attack her for what you don't like about her. But I'm so tired of people attacking Taylor Swift for like whatever white people they don't like about white institutionalism and blah blah blah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, girl.
I think a lot of that started because of like the comparison between her and Beyonce. Yeah. And like Beyonce's like, you know, most people think she's more talented, better dancer, you know, and Taylor Swift kind of represents mediocrity in white women, whiteness. So
to some people,
yeah, like not to everybody, but you know, like
she's also one of the greatest songwriters.
Exactly, you know, like she did her thing. Like it's not like, I'm just saying like people are gonna talk shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I like that. Like, let's have a conversation about. You want to have a conversation about a celebrity? That's what it's for. Like, I was with one of my friends. He was like, he loves Taylor Swift, and I was saying that I think that Taylor. Like, I don't dislike Taylor Swift, but I'm not a huge fan. But I can shake it off every once in a while. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not a torture poet. Jesus, that was a horrible album. I'm gonna like, what is this? This the title is stupid. Anyway, but I was saying that like I think Taylor Swift is like the Dolly Parton of her times, in the sense that like she writes a lot of songs. I'm not talking about how great her songs are, but like she's one of the few people I know that could have like a Dolly land. You know what I mean? And she writes a lot of songs. She and she has these, you know, these eggs that, you know, these like Easter eggs or eggs in the thing that her fans like, and I could see, you know what I mean? So I could see that. And my friend was like, I don't know who Dolly Parton is. I don't know if she's written a lot of songs. So that was like the first one. I was like, okay, you dumb. But he was like, I don't think she's Dolly Parton. She's the Michael Jackson of our times. And then like me and three black people were like, excuse me?
Yeah, slow down.
And then he was like, yeah, we started talking about Mariah Carey. He's like, Mariah Carey's overrated. And so these are the fights that you have, right?
Yeah,
I know. I kicked him out. I kicked him out after that. I was like, you gotta go. But I'm just saying, like, these are the fun fights you have about celebrities. Like, you know, talk about dumb shit like that, but it's just like, we don't need to just keep you know, I feel like when they attack Taylor Swift or attacking these things, she's not that. You know what I mean? Like, let's have a conversation about whether or not you think she's as talented as Beyonce, or what you think that, you know, that, or she's a great songwriter. Those are the celebrity conversations I want to have about Taylor Swift. But attacking her power, or attacking her whatever, you know what I mean? That's just kind of annoying to me.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, that's the end of our show, or the end of or the positive news. Sorry, the end of the news section, guys. We're gonna go to the examples of protest section. An example of the protest section, we're talking about protests around the world. We have a Kenyans Remembrance March. So the families of victims from the 2024 anti-finance bill protests are holding a nationwide We Will Never Forget March in Kenya to demand justice and compensation. And then we have some protests that are continuing against immigration enforcement and the Trump administration detention surges in New Jersey at Delaney Hall at the ICE facility. So people are still protesting there. So power to the protests. And then we can talk about positive news with a positive news section, because we got to talk about. I mean, I have been trying to put more positive news in the thing, but and luckily this week, last 2 or 3 weeks, there's been something the bank and all that. Yeah. But sometimes you just be like, it's Marlin, and so there's positive news section. But this week, Sao Tome and Principe officially designated 40 square miles of water as a marine protected areas. That's in Brazil. So they designated some big areas as marine protected life. Anyone who knows about the ocean knows that we need more and more of these protected areas on the ocean. Mm-hmm. And then for women's inclusivity, Mexico City Chilangos, one of just 6 women's blind football teams in the country, was celebrated for empowering visually impaired women and offering them independence.
I like that.
I'm not sure I want any of the women on this football team to hit a ball at me, but because I'm
not sure how that works, but I like it. I like it.
I was just thinking, I can't even imagine a blind football team. But hey.
I mean, is enough people interested to get it together?
Yeah, they got 6. They got a league,
right?
Bitch.
I'm like, good Lord.
I ain't got a league, orgy league that big. Right. Anyway, that is our news recap show. Everybody, up next is the first half interview with the Delilah BeFierce. It was everything. Thank you, Jason, for being here.
You're welcome.
As usual, it's been amazing.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. And as always, please remember to follow me so you'll notice when I post new shows. Remember to listen, rate, share, and laugh. Happy Pride, everyone. I know I'm prideful. Hopefully my butt. Oh my God, I just realized I could not go into Pride with a butt rash. This butt rash needs to be.
You better get some cream, antibiotic cream, or something.
I mean, I cannot go into Pride with a butt rash. That would just be it would just send the wrong signals. If you've had a good Pride, you have a butt rash after. Ooh,
fine.
Not before. Keep it sassy, San Francisco. Ciao. Ciao. Mic check, mic check. Okay. Sorry, I've got too much dick. I'm sorry, it's the frog in my mouth for that. Mic check. Okay, we're good. Hello, everyone. It is I, Roman, and it's, as you can tell, I'm back with another interview, and this time with the amazing Delilah.
How you guys?
Fucking fierce, right? If you haven't been out and about, or you've never been to the Castro, then you might be, we don't know that Delilah's been killing it since I've actually been in SF, and that was 2016. I've been saying you've been killing it for years, bitch. You know what I mean? Her outfits are fierce. Her personality's over the top. Her drag performances are over the top. She's probably had hands down some of the best drag outfits I think I've ever seen in person. You know what I mean? Outside of Drag Race. So it's really an honor to have you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, hi. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is When in Rome. And let's get started with the interview, yeah?
Of course, yes.
All right, so where did you grow up?
But I grew up in Mexico, Acapulco, Mexico.
Acapulco, Mexico?
Yes.
What province or is that from?
Es Acapulco, es Guerrero.
Guerrero,
yes.
I'm a Sinaloa girl.
Es Guerrero.
I'm joking.
Acapulco, Guerrero.
Anytime anyone says where they're from, I'm like, I'm a Michoacan girl. I'm a Durango, bitch.
Okay, said if you're not a mariachi, you're a faggot. And clearly, she's not a mariachi.
That's what I am. Okay, so what was your early life like? Were you out? Were you a little?
Not really. When I was in Mexico, I was not even out. I didn't know what gay was.
Right.
I was just free, having fun.
Yeah.
I never know oh my God, you're gay. I never got that word when I was little.
Yeah.
I was just having fun with my brothers. We used to grow up Mexico is different than here.
Yeah.
You don't grow up playing video games. You grow up
Out
climbing trees.
Right,
climbing trees, falling from trees, like hanging from branches of trees. Like it's like
and being out in nature, like which is kind of what like now they're saying we should be doing. You know what I mean?
It's different. You're like there's rivers, and we always went in the rivers, like riding donkeys and all this bullshit.
All right, now you like to ride donkeys for a living. Yeah. Okay, so your early life, you weren't really out. You were just like a little Nino. When did you come to SF?
I came to SF in 2005.
2005, okay. And how old were you?
I think.
Or sorry, not SF. When did you come to America?
No, I came to America, 2005. I think 2005, 2004.
Okay.
I was like around 10, 12.
Okay.
Yes, around 10, 12. And then I moved to LA.
Okay.
Yes, I live in Downey for like pretty much. I grew up there for 12 years.
12 years? Okay.
Since I was like 12.
I've been to Downey before. What was LA like?
It was pretty good. I went to middle school. I went to high school. I went to some college. I lived between Downey and Long Beach.
Okay.
So I used to go like back and forth.
Yeah, I used to live in Long Beach. Do you remember like Ripples, Executive Suites?
Yes, I started shows of Ripples.
Oh, really?
That was my club. Oh my God, that was my shit.
Bitch.
Ripples was my thing. I started performing at Ripples.
I remember going to Ripples because that was like my first job out of college was, and I lived in Long Beach, and then, or not my first job, my third job, but then I lived in Long Beach. I lived on like, what was it, East Ocean. I used to go to Ripples all the time. Executive Suites all the time.
Ripples was a shit.
It was a shit. It was really fun.
It was amazing.
Okay, so let's talk about like kind of like you started doing drag. What made you start wanting to do drag?
But I came out but I did not came out. When I was 17, I was still in high school.
Okay.
But I was about to graduate.
Okay.
So I did my best to grab all my credits and like to graduate. And then when I graduated, I left my mom's house. Okay. Because my mom was very homophobic.
Right. Oh, really?
Like, yeah. But when I barely was trying to come out, like she used to make like very, very fucking ugly ass comments.
Oh, really?
So like that panicked me, like it scared me. So as soon as I graduated, like I left.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you had to get out of there.
Like, and my brothers were very homophobic too.
Oh, really? So it was basically a very homophobic household.
Yeah, like my brothers were like always like, oh yeah, fuck those faggots. Yeah, like like pinches maricones, and I was like, oh shit.
Right.
I was like very flamboyant. But like I think I didn't talk to people. Yeah. I let my hair grow. It was very long. So I never talked to anybody. I was just like focused on myself.
Well, because you weren't really given life, so you kind of like, you know what I mean? You were like recluse. Like, do you still talk to your family?
Yeah, I do. I talk to them, but it's like it took a minute because I didn't see my mom since I was 17. I saw her. I actually moved in with my sister. Okay. I thought she was gonna be cool with it. At first, she was, but then she was like, I don't want you to come out when my friends are here. Like,
oh gosh. Yeah. So your whole family was just not.
Yeah, and then actually my sister was very like that. She was at the beginning she was very like that. And then that was when I started doing drag. Okay. One of my neighbors, she was an old lesbian, but she was hot. Yeah. Like she was hot. She was like in around 67. Like she was old. Okay. But she was hot. Okay. She had a big ass butt, tiny little waist, big ass titties. All right. And she was like, but she came out too when she had like 7 kids.
Oh wow. So she came out late.
Yeah, she has grandkids and her grandkids are kids.
Okay.
So like she's already had kids and she came out and then she was like, you have to come out. Come with us, like have fun. So she took me to Cocobongo. Okay. It's this bar in LA. Okay. So we went there and then I saw my first drag show. Okay. And I fell in love with it.
That was literally gonna ask you, what was your first? Who was the first drag queen ever you saw? Do you know? Remember?
Actually, I remember her name, but she was not a drag queen. She was a trans woman. Okay. She was like they do more like impersonations. Okay. So she was impersonating Thalia. Okay. So I fell in love with her, and I was like, oh my god, I want to do that.
And how old were you?
I was 17. No, I was 20. I was 19 actually.
19 at that time.
Yeah.
So you had this like fabulous lesbian elder just take you out and force you, and then she basically introduced you to your first drag performance, right? And then that was when you were like, oh shit, I want to do that.
Like she took me to my first gay club.
Okay.
Like she was like one of the first to take me to like one of the first gay clubs that I've ever been. Okay. And then after that, I went to the multiple gay bars, but she was one of the first that took me to a gay bar.
That's really cool. And what was, you said it was Talia? Talia was
yes, it was one of, but she was doing, they were doing like multiple artists, but it was one that did Talia.
Okay.
But I fell in love with all of them.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, I was just like hypnotized by them.
Who would you say is your favorite drag queen?
Who is my favorite drag queen? For what? Drag race or in general?
I mean, in general, both. I mean, you could.
But one of the first queens that I fell in love with when I saw her, that I was like, oh my God. And then I started like kind of doing her drag was Yara Sofia.
Okay, Yara Sofia.
Yara Sofia and Carmen Carrera.
Carmen Carrera.
Yeah,
okay,
those two. So I started literally, I combined both of the drags and did it my own.
Okay.
When I started performing, I was naked.
Oh, really?
Like naked. It was like, hello.
Okay, so you wait. Okay,
I was wearing pasties.
I can't even imagine a naked drag. Like, so are you in drag? I mean, I guess you were like, you had titties.
I was like pasties, but I was wearing like the little tiny pasties.
Oh, so you were
like little tiny ones, and then nothing on my butt.
Okay, that's very like Vicky.
Oh no, bro. Honey, she. You know what?
I mean, I'm just saying that gives that vibe. But so that's how you started.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and then we talked about your first drag performance. So then, when did you start like doing drag? Like after that, like how did you start doing drag?
But I did it when my first performance because the lady she used to live in front of my house.
Yeah,
and she had a little restaurant like in her garage. Okay, and I did it there.
Okay.
And yes, that was my first time I did it, but I did it like hidden by my sister. Like, cause she didn't know. I started buying stuff and I started hiding it in the closet. Like behind the clothes, there was another line of hangers that that I made, and they were there. And then when she found out, I show there first. And then I was like, my friends were like, "You should get in drag and we should go out." Yeah. So I did get in drag. And I went out, and then my sister came home. Oh wow! And she was like, "Where you at?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm out with my friends." And then she was looking in the closet because somebody told her that like I was dressing up, and she found out like the stuff, and she threw me out. Oh wow, that's sad. Yeah. And then but I mean, fuck But she kicked me out, and then I moved in back with my mom. Okay, so I mean, it was when I started talking back to her. Okay, like I got back to like start talking to her again. So she picked me up. I didn't want to talk to her about it, but it was like. It was kind of hard. Yeah. It was because I didn't not came out to her. Right. And like everybody was like telling her, I was like, oh yeah, your song is gay. Like he's a faggot, this and that. Well, I mean, of course you didn't come out to her. She wasn't making it very easy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I did talk to her about it too when people were like, oh, when you talk to your mom. I did talk to her. She was like, why don't you talk to me? And I was like, because you never gave me the opportunity. Right, girl. Like every single time I tried to say something, you were like, oh, if I had a faggot at my house, I would drive so far and kill him and the fucking nobody would know. And like that's the comments that you all used to say. So yeah, of course I'm not gonna be like open about it. Like I got scared and I left. Yeah. Like I didn't see her like since what? Like I was 17. I saw her again since I was like what 24. But I mean, it was good that you like during that time when you kind of like had it out with your sister, you were able to kind of go back and start that conversation with your mom. You know what I mean? I think that's a really good time to take a fucking break. You know what I mean? Yes, we're gonna be busy. Mwah. And we are back. I'm with Delilah BeFierce. We're having the only fierce conversation. Hello, you guys. Before, so we were talking about your family. So we talked about that. Now let's get back into a little bit about your performances. So you said you started at Ripples. What were your first performances like? My first number that I did was a cappella. Oh, okay. Who's the artist? I forgot. That's the name of the song, acapella. Okay. I made this huge peacock outfit. It was this big headpiece. Yeah. Everything was made of peacock feathers. So you made it yourself then? Yeah. So you started basically from the very beginning. You were making your own costumes. But I always made my own costumes. Or if I didn't make them, I used to buy things in like Goodwill. Yeah. And make them my own, customize them, cut them, and like change them. Where did you get that creativity from? Did you always have it? Yes, I was being creative since I was little. I know how to crochet. I know how to sew like by hand, and like the little thingies to make. Who taught you? My mom. So, you know,
what's funny? Your mom's teaching you how to crochet and sew, and at that point, does she be like,
actually,
"Oh, little girl, my little baby Nino"?
Let me take it back. No, well, when I was growing up, every single time we were going to a school, like Mexico has a different different way of they educate you guys. Okay. They're like during the day we go to regular school. Okay. And then from let's say from 3 to 6, there's another class. Okay. But that class teach you how to let's say how to do how to sew, how to cut hair, how to learn how to play instruments. Okay. So we did that. Yeah. So they used to have all those classes. And they used to have crochet classes. Okay. So I learned in all those classes. Okay. It was school pretty much what teaches all of that.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I wish we could have learned that shit and kind of, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Those are skills that you can take with you.
They don't teach that anymore.
No,
they used to.
Did they? Oh, they use home ec, right? Home ec.
When I started high school, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they used to have that.
Yeah, they did. Because I don't remember them having a home ec when I was going to school. Anymore. Yeah. Okay, so your first performances, you did this big peacock feathers, whatever. You said you started performing at Ripples, right? And Ripples was the club you did every week.
Yes, I was there every Tuesday.
How long did it take you, and when you started doing drag, to start doing it for work?
But to be honest, when I started working, when I started drag, I did free drag for at least 3 years and a half. Okay. Because nobody knew me, nobody knew who I was, and Drag Race was going on. It was when I started drag when it was season 3. Okay. The beginning of season 3. Right. And it was season 3 was one of the most popular seasons. Yeah. And it's drag exploded. And so, we were trying to be noticed. So we would try to work harder. Right. So I started working on Long Beach for free, just tit spots every Tuesday. And then from there, I was just doing other competitions. Okay. Because LA has a lot of competitions. So I did all the competitions, and that's when you start getting noticed. Yeah. You're a good performer, you have stage presence, and that's how promoters start scouting you.
Plus, you said you were doing, you're doing it weekly. I mean, there was remember when Monroe's at midnight, there was a lot of queens that kind of came. There were some queens that came through that because a weekly is where you get a lot of skills. Yes. You know what I mean? You learn how to manage the audience and all that kind of shit.
But at the same time, it's a lot of queens, I feel that they just focus on one style and just stay on that.
What different styles are there?
But there's different queens. Everybody can do they said everybody can do drag. Yeah. But not everybody can be a drag queen. Ah, okay. Everybody can be a drag. Everybody can be drag. Right. You can get in drag. But it's always the way when you get on the stage. Right. They're managing to get other people. Right. You want everybody to look at you. Yeah. You don't want them to be in their phone texting somebody else and say, "Oh God, this shit's boring." Right. No. At the moment you come out of that stage or the curtain opens, it's your place. Right. Tell them, I said, "Look at me, bitch." Right. It's my moment. Yeah. You all have to look at me.
Right. That's why I'm here. And that's the difference between drag.
I learned that when I started doing drag. Right. Because they all taught me that. Nobody said, "Oh, you're gonna be good, you're gonna be horrible." Right. They just said the only thing you need to learn is how to get their attention. When you get their attention, is when that means that you're good. Yeah. And that's the only thing, the only advice some of the queens there told me. Yeah. That I said, you learn at the moment you step into that stage. Learn how to grab their attention.
And keep it.
Yes, and keep it. You don't have to drop yourself on the floor. You don't have to literally throw yourself on the floor every moment of the song. You just have to feel it. Feel the song, feel the moment. Give them your emotions, your feelings. That's what people want to see. Give them your energy.
And that's what you worked on, kind of doing it every...
But yes, I work on that all the time.
Who were your drag, who helped you with doing that when you started out?
But when I started drag, I started by myself for 2 years. Just by myself. Okay. Nobody told me how to do my makeup. Nobody said this is horrible. This is not cute. Nobody said that. Nothing. We just did it because it was fun. At the beginning, I did it for fun. It was okay, there's fun. It's it's taking you something away from reality. Right. You're getting compliments for people that you're not used to get it. Yeah. And it's and it was excitement. Right. So that's why I did it. But then I started using it as work. When I started investing more money into it,
because it's
because you have to spend money to make money. Right. It's it works in every situation, not just in drag. Right. I spend money on wigs. I know I'm gonna wear it and I'm gonna make my money back. Right. But you have to be smart too. Because everything is expensive.
Especially it's getting more expensive.
Yes, I mean? Especially when all these queens are using these designers.
Yeah.
Designers are ridiculous.
Yeah, especially everyone's using the same designer.
No, but I get it. Like, but designers need to understand that. They're like, when a drag race girl has the money to pay, a local queen is like, bitch, you're charging me $7,000 for this.
Right, I don't have the time. I can't pay for that, right? Especially when it's kind of like, I mean...
But it depends. Some of them do.
Yeah.
Like the ones that they're always asking for money
because they trying to pay them bills. Okay, so you started making costumes from the very beginning, and then and how did that progress? Did you learn more skills?
But at the beginning, everything that I used was just like glue gun.
Okay.
The glue gun. Mm-hmm. Everything it was just glue gun. E6000, and I didn't learn how to. I learned how to sew during the pandemic.
Yeah. Okay.
Like during the COVID pandemic, that's when I learned how to sew.
Okay, and then that's when you started to like up.
Everything else, it was like outfits that I used to buy, cut them, glue them, and like add stuff to it, like to make them my own. Like that's what I like. Like when you buy something, I don't want to see it in 5 different girls. It's cute, yes, but like buy it and then buy more rhinestones or something and make it your own.
And then did you find yourself like saving money when you learned how to sew? Like because you started to like do things on your own.
Because I noticed that like when you go to the fabric store, you can buy 2-3 yards of fabric for like $20. Right. And you can make a big outfit with it. Right. And then for those $20, you're gonna pay the designer. You're gonna pay like what, $500, and you can go to the store and buy $20. That's why when I make outfits for people, I always make sure they go with me to the store and buy the fabric themselves. Because some of them are like, "Oh, you're gonna steal money from me," or like, "Why are you buying so much fabric?" Like, and at the same time, it's like when you start making outfits, you understand how much fabric you spend into it.
So that's a question. When did you start making outfits for other people?
I started making but it's been like 2 years, 3 years.
3 years? What made you
I think.
4? What made you start that? Just like money or?
No, they like them. People look at my outfits and they're like, "Oh my god, I love this. Can I have it?" And I'm like, I tell people, I was like, I'm not a seamstress. Yeah. Like I do what I learn by myself because everything I know is I learn it by myself. Like I learn how to everything. Like nobody taught me. I say, "Here, girl, like you sew like this." Nobody taught me nothing of that. And when people ask me, "Can you make me this?" I do get excited and I'm like, "Oh, are you being for real?" And they're like, "Yeah, I want this." And I'm like, "Sure." And I make it. I don't like to make everything the same all the time or like replicate it, like copy and paste. It's like, it's not cute.
Right.
So I like to say, "Okay, I'll make you something, but I will change it up." Okay. And they said yes, and at the end they always like it because it's different. It's not the same. It's not the same as the one I have.
So has that taken off? Are you making more and more outfits?
No, but yes, I do. I made 2 outfits for Bobby Friday. Okay. She just wore one, I think, last week. Okay. She just wore, but I had made 5 for her. Okay. I think it's been 5 prize. Okay. So every prize she hits me up.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you're getting like some clients, some repeat clients. So especially for like Pride, that's when you want to wear like a great outfit.
Clients. I have people that like I make outfits for me, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sell this, and I sell them for like, if I wear them, I sell them for like $100, $200. If they have rhinestones, like all of that.
That's cool because then you can make them for yourself and then sell them after.
Yeah, because at the same time I'm like, I invested, I wear it, I already make my money of it. Like whatever I invest on it, I already made it, and plus. So now like I don't want to wear it multiple times anymore. That's the other thing that I hate. Seeing the same outfit
on the same queen,
and the same number, and the same club, more plus times, like 20 plus times. I say, "Bitch, burn that.
Burn that dress, donate it, and donate that song, bitch. You are not allowed. You are banned from doing a Gaga number in Ripples Again with Guardian of the top."
You know, sometimes it's like if you know the song, like do it, love it, but change it all the time. Change your wig, change your clothes, everything.
So that's what you like to. So you'll do like you'll keep the same song, but you'll change the looks for the song.
There's always like we all have a signature song. We all have a song that we all have let's what is that, like our brunch song. Like we all do that. I said, "Oh my god, there's so many people and people love when I do this song. I'm gonna do this song." But understand that don't wear the same outfit. The same outfit you wore last week.
Yeah, because people will remember and they'll see you and there's a lot of pictures.
And everybody's like, "Oh, but it's brunch." Every new people, I said, "No, but there's always the usual ones."
Right.
I'm like, if you do a show, always look around. Always look around. There's always 7 people. They're the usual ones. Care about them. Like, care about them. They're paying too. And they come, they see this show, and they're always like, why is this bitch doing the same number all the time? Like, why does this bitch keep doing this same number over and over again?
Question for you. What's your favorite costume you ever made?
My favorite costume right now, so far, I think it's my snowman that I made for my Christmas last year. Yes, I think my snowman.
My favorite of yours is the Grinch one.
Oh yeah,
so fierce. I remember saying that was like it's just like the Grinch, like yeah, Grinch and drag, and I never would have thought of it, but it was really fierce.
When the first time I did it, it was crazy too. I made everything with tissue paper.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was the first time I did it, and everyone was like, "You should do this."
Yeah, and you just think so. It's like the level of like creativity because you decided to just do the
and
Grinch.
it's that too. It's like when we started something, it starts ugly, but it's cute. But you need to elevate it. Like, and that's what I did too when I did my Grinch. Like, I started investing in like the prosthetics and everything. And everything is that investing. If you want to be good, if you want to be noticed, or if you want to be consistent somewhere, elevate yourself. Right. Keep elevating yourself. Don't be comfortable just in one area. Because that's the thing from a lot of queens in San Francisco. They get to where they want to be. Like, let's say, example, everybody wants to be a queen of bow. Right. They'll say, I want to be a bow. I want to be the bow queen. Yes, we all done that before. I've been there before. I used to be there every fucking Wednesday. And then we all have our moments. But a lot of them get into their head.
I'm the bow queen.
Yes. But then they get stuck there. They don't want to elevate their drag. They don't want to do more. Right. And then they get mad when I told them, do more. Yeah. I said, but I'm not a drag queen. Like, you're such a drag queen girl. Yes, because I'm a drag queen.
Right. That's what we do. We keep elevating, girl.
A drag queen. Learn how to do drag guys.
Yes.
Be drag queens.
Okay, and then the last question before we end this first part. Can you give me one drag horror story?
One drag horror story. Actually, I did a number one time and we came off.
Oh really?
Yes. Who was there? It was 3 Drag Race girls. At the back then, it was one of the queens that I love. It was Raja, Adore Delano, and who was the other one?
Oh my gosh.
It was, and then they all looked at me and said, "We all love it, but you keep going. You did not give a fuck."
Yeah, I mean, girl, like, who hasn't had a drag a wig come off, girl?
But the thing is, like, some queens get this courage. Yeah. The wig came off, and you're like, bitch, keep going. Yeah. Like, if it comes out the thing is, like, if it comes out by himself, it's cute. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. But if you grab your wig, bitch, and if it's glued down and you rip it off, bitch, I will punch you.
Like, you didn't know not to do that?
No, don't do that. No.
Yeah, that's
especially
hilarious.
if it is pen. If you tape yourself and like in it's pen and it's glue, you don't need to rip your wig off.
Right. Like, girl, like unless it's part of the number.
Unless you're like doing a 7-minute number. Right. You literally in the 4-minute end. You have 3 minutes to go. Yeah. And you're sweating like a whore. Right. And then you do this and your wig flies away. Right. Let it. Yeah. Keep going, bitch. You did so much. You did so much for 4 minutes. Right. They don't care about that.
Right. You said you're sweating like a whore and your wig falls off and let it, girl. You need that. You've earned that air.
Let it go. Like,
air it out, bitch.
Like, let it. They don't care about those 3 more minutes. Like, but the thing is, like, and there's been situations the queens are not getting the attention, and they're like, I need to do something. And the first thing they go is
the
rip
wig
their
off.
wigs.
Yeah.
You're like, go, why?
Or fall on the ground.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, girl, how many times you gonna fall? We get it, girl. We get it. You're swam. We get it.
There's the thing too. Like, there's a time and a moment to roll yourself. Yeah. And it depends how you land, if you know how to do it. Yeah. Like, practice. Yeah. Practice in your house. If you have a cute living room, practice in your house. Practice for your friends. Yeah. Like, I always said, like, when you go and perform, always have the same energy. Yeah. All the time. Even if it's 5 people in the crowd, 100 people in the crowd. Because sometimes when there's 1,000 people in the crowd, nobody tips. Sometimes there's 5 and you make $100.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that one person will give you 20.
Yeah.
And
you're
then
like,
give you 40.
Yes. And then you're like, and then do it. Like, don't be discouraged by when people are not there. Yeah. If your wig fall off, let it fall off.
Yeah. And that's also a really good thing you're saying. Like, don't be discouraged by the amount of people, because it's not the amount of people; it's the performance and it's what they give you.
Yes, and I always tell people that there's like, we drag queens, we getting paid to do this. If there's some occasions that you don't get paid, that you're doing it just for like a fundraiser, but still give them a show. Yeah, it's always doesn't matter. Like, oh god, there's nobody here,
because you're getting paid to do it. So the tips are tips, but you're getting paid for the show.
There's a lot of people always ask me, said, oh, because I know I do this for like now as a job now, like full time. People always ask me, say, how do you pay your rent? I said, because I know how to manage and I know how to like hustle. And I do a lot of private gigs too.
And like you said, it's the giving it 100% all the time, because you never know when the person in front of you is someone who could book you. Do you know what I mean?
And it's always that, yes. Always give it your 100%. Like, always.
And on that note...
The alarm, honey.
That didn't happen, everybody. You didn't just hear my alarm go off.
It's the alarm.
Bitch.
She said, bitch, shut the fuck up.
That's the universe saying, you know what? Cut. Okay, we're going to end this first half. I'm a mess. You know what I mean? We talk about being professional and being ready, and then, you know what I mean? When your wig comes off, let it. When your alarm goes off, let it. Thank you, Delilah, for being here. Hot mess. I'm talking about me. Thank you, Delilah. This is the end of the first half. We're going to be recording our second half after this. This is When in Rome. Remember to keep everything sassy, San Francisco. Ciao, ciao.